Hello everybody, this is TechNolli, and today we are going to do a very in-depth video. Okay, I'm going to show you from start to finish a complete install on this. It's a ThinkStation. It's a Xeon. It is an older system. It's a 6th generation. But this video will not be about this computer so much. It's going to be about the process of getting Mac OS installed on any PC, okay? And we're going to use this old PC not only because it's an incredible value, but we're just going to show the basic steps of how all of this works, problems that you run into, and just detailed instructions that you can use to do your own macOS install. Okay, so we're going to be using OC auxiliary tools for much of this complete install and showing you how to do this. Now, this install process is going to be whether you're doing it on the latest and greatest 14 gen or if you're doing it on a 4th gen system. It's basically the same process, okay? So let's get started with this. I'm going to show you this PC that we're working with today. It's really interesting. I bought mine for 80 bucks, including shipping. They still got 5 of these left. It comes with 16 gigs of RAM, and it's got a really powerful Xeon processor. And this thing is just a brick house. I mean, this computer is built like you couldn't believe. And this motherboard setup is not proprietary. The power supply is, but this case you could put any motherboard in. Here's the back end of it. We got USB 3 and 2. Ethernet, of course. Onboard graphics, we're not going to be using those. We're going to be using a graphics card. Okay. I get a lot of questions from people about, what graphics cards work. What graphics card can I get? And I want to take you over to OpenCore's website and just show you a link right here. GPU Buyer's Guide. That is where you can figure out what is going to work and what isn't. Okay? Most all of us know that NVIDIA is just not supported unless you're talking about an older Mac OS. And by older, we're talking about, let me just show you. Big Sur for these graphics cards right here. I used to use this 210 for doing a lot of my testing and everything, but it was only good through Big Sur. So they are completely dropped now since Big Sur, and you just got to move on. What we want to focus on is the AMD GPUs, and we've got the 6600, we've got the 68 and 6900. We also, with a little trick, we can use the 6650 and the 6700s, but these are all supported beyond Ventura. They're supported into Sonoma also. So you're good to go. All of these 5000 series cards are good to Sonoma. The Radeon 7, if you remember that, it's good. The Vega series cards, they're good right here. Even down to the 460 are still good, the RX 460. In fact, that's what I'm running right now on this computer. A cheap little $40 RX 460. All of these are supported. The 500 series, these are supported. And then we're getting into cards that are only supported through Monterey. So keep a link to this website, because this will tell you what is going to work and what isn't. We're pretty much getting to the point where AMD is the way to go. If you still want to use an internal GPU on like a 7 series, 8 series, 9 series, 10 series, 630, you're good to go. You're still okay. All right, so enough about graphics. The first thing that we need to do when trying to install macOS is we have to make a USB stick. Okay, we have to make what's called a vanilla install stick. Okay, so basically what we're making is the same USB flash drive that you would use if you were installing macOS on a real Mac. Okay, so that's the beauty of Open Core. There is no junk in it. The only thing that Open Core uses is a bootloader that tells macOS it's a Mac, and you can go ahead and install it. So grab yourself, we're going to do this on doing Sonoma. I want you to grab yourself a 32 gig USB stick. 16 gig won't work anymore. 32 gig, and we're going to format it. I'm going to put mine in the computer here. And we're going to come up here and we're going to go to Utilities. And we're going to go Device, or we're going to go to Disk Utilities. Make sure you click this down arrow to show all devices. And you can see now my SanDisk. I'm going to erase it, and I'm going to call it USB. We need to make sure that we are on macOS Extended Journaled, and we are on GUID partition map, and click Erase. Okay, we're all done here. So we'll close out of here. Now we need to download macOS. Now, to download macOS, I'm going to show you a website that makes it very quick and easy. Okay? Come over here to mrhackintosh.com, and we can come right here and go over here to Ventura, Monterey, Sonoma installers, and come down here, and we've got the full versions right here. So the latest version is 14.2.1. So if we just click on this, it starts downloading. Okay, now it's a large download, it's about 12 gigabytes. We'll wait till this is done, and then we'll come right back. Okay guys, we're all done. So let's go over here to our downloads. And there it is, Installer Assistant. So just right click and open that up, and then click Continue, Install, put in your password. Okay, and then close out of here, keep. Now when you go over to Applications, it's right there. So that's what we need. We need Install macOS Sonoma in the Applications folder, and that did it for you. Just right click, open, do that little install thingy, and boom, it's in the applications. So we're good to go. All right, now we need a command line to make the USB stick. So let's go ahead, type in make a USB bootable for Mac. And we'll choose right here, Apple support, how to create a bootable installer for macOS. Just click there, and we'll just come down here to Sonoma. We need to copy this line, copy it, go up to Spotlight, and let's go back to Terminal. And we'll paste that in there, but we need to change this My Volume to the name of our USB stick, which was USB. All right, and then we hit Enter, put in a password, and sometimes it will get stuck right here and it won't pop up this ready to start for sometimes a minute. So just wait for it. It will pop up. And then all we do is hit yes, or Y for yes, hit enter, and it's going to make our USB stick. Okay. So when this is finished, I'll come back. Okay, so now here it is. This is our USB stick. It's all completed, so we're done with that. Now, in doing this video, I'm also doing this for people out there that are buying EFIs from me or getting EFIs off, online somewhere, just picking something up. At this point, if you were going to just get an EFI, let's say you go over to my website and you go over here, purchase EFI. This is where you actually buy an EFI. If you come over here and you don't see the EFI you're looking for, then you can go back here and you can request one for $29 and I'll make one for you. So anyways, so let's say you grab this EFI, you buy it, and you immediately you download it. Okay, now you have an EFI folder, which I will just show you. Okay, I got here we go. Got an EFI right here. So you've downloaded your EFI and here it is. So you're ready to put this EFI on the hidden EFI partition on your stick that you just made, on your USB stick you just made. Now, you guys, you got to download OC Auxiliary Tools, okay? And it's real easy to find. OC Auxiliary Tools, download, and you can just click here and download the latest version. All right, so here it is. The first thing you want to do before you touch an EFI or you try to put it on the USB stick is you need to update it. Okay, so let's open it up and I'll show you real quick how to update to the latest version. So you're going to go here and you're going to go over here and select latest version and then get latest version. Okay, and there we go. So it's 0.9.7. So now it's safe for us to open up this EFI, because if you open it up and let's say your OC Auxiliary Tools is version 8.8, then it could mess up your EFI. And we certainly don't want to do that. So once we're updated and we have our EFI, then all we have to do is click right here. And this is our USB stick. So we just mount it, put it on our password. And here is that EFI hidden partition. And this is where we need to drag and drop our folder. Okay, so now we're ready to install macOS on a PC. All right, but this video is way more about just making a USB stick and putting an EFI on it. We are going to actually make the EFI for this ThinkStation. Okay, all right, so We're going to use auxiliary tools to do this. I'm going to get rid of this, move it to the trash. There we go. All right. So this is a 6th gen Xeon processor. So we're going to go here, and this is the configuration templates. This is how you get to the templates for OC auxiliary tools that they will give you. So we'll click here, and we'll click on this link, and then we'll click on plist, because that's what we need, right? And we'll come down here to clear down here to X79, and we'll just grab this first one right here, Sandy Bridge, because this is not a 6th gen consumer desktop. This is a Xeon, so we're right here. So let's grab this, and we will download it. Now let's go over here and open it up. All right, so here is all of our kex. Now there are no ACPIs in here, so we're going to have to put those in. And we've got this for the Ethernet server adapter, but we don't need to worry about this, and it is turned off. We do need these, okay? And everything else is set up for us. But we do need to add a couple of things. But before we close this out and start adding more things to it, let's go up to Edit, and we're going to generate EFI on desktop and say OK. All right, now we have an EFI folder that we can build, and we have to get these ACPIs that we need for this, okay? So let's close out of here, and let's go over to OpenCore's website, and let's look at what we need. Getting started, we'll come down here to Intel, and we are on Sandy Ivy Bridge. Scroll down just a little bit, and we need this one. And if we're using Big Sur, we need this SSDT. So let's grab this one because we're not putting Big Sur on it. We'll come down here, Sandy Bridge, and just grab a pre-built. And here we go. We'll just download this right here. Okay. And we'll put it in our ACPI. So let's just, well, if I can get my boxes right, I'd be good, wouldn't I? So we'll just grab this and put it right in here. Okay, now let's open this up again. And we have to tell auxiliary tools where it is. So we'll just click plus, ACPI, and here it is right here. So we'll just click OK. Now we've got these items right here. We don't need these, so let's just get rid of them. We're going to make this real simple. All right, now on this ThinkStation, we have to find out what kind of a Ethernet is on it, okay? So let's go over to ThinkStation, specs. All right, let's see if we can find it here. I think I know which one it is, but I just want to verify it. So we'll come down here to, let's see, rear ports. Okay, and all it says is one Ethernet. Okay, but up here it says onboard Ethernet. It's an I-219, which is, let's go back over here to gathering files, OpenCore website. And here's Ethernet. And the 219 is the Intel Mousy. See right here, I-219. So we'll click here. We'll grab the release version. Open it up. open this up, our EFI OC, and it goes right here under Kex. So we're going to open this, and all we need is the Intel mousy.kext. We don't need anything else from there, okay? All right, so what else do we need? Let's go back and look at it. Okay, now we got to add that Intel mousy. So we'll just click and add to open it. All right, now on this particular system, we do not have built-in Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, so we're not going to worry about that. So really, this is all we need to get started, right? Miscellaneous, everything's fine. Everything else should be fine, except we need to put in some boot arguments. So you ask, well, where do you get boot arguments? Real simple. You just go over here and you can click right on that Sandy and come down here to the bottom of the page. And here's your boot arguments. They're all the same on all Hackintoshes, pretty much. Okay, so let me close this down so you can see what I'm doing. So the first thing we want the -V, and that is called verbose mode, and that's all the text you're going to see while this thing is installing and booting up. The reason we want to see it is if it gets stuck somewhere, we want to know where it's getting stuck instead of staring at just an apple. Okay? And then we'll put in debug equals 0x100, and then keep sims equals 1, and then for our audio, ALCID equals 1. And then if you're going to put in a 5000 series Radeon or 6000 series Radeon graphics card, then you need to put in this right here. I'm going to go ahead and add it. And there we go. So now when I look at boot arguments, I've got everything correct right here. I'll go ahead and save. Okay, so everything else, this is where we generate our serial numbers. And since you're building this for yourself, we can go ahead and generate them. But let's change this first of all to Mac Pro 7,1 because that's supported by Sonoma. And then we'll generate right there our serial numbers and UUID numbers. If you don't do this, you won't be able to get into the Apple Store and iServices and everything else. So we got to have serial numbers. We'll save it. Okay, so we have everything in there. We should be good to go here, guys. So let's put this EFI on the stick that we made. Okay, so here is the stick. Let me get rid of this. And we'll drag it into here. That's all we have to do. We're putting it on the EFI hidden partition, okay? And now our USB stick has our EFI, which is required to boot. And now we can try to boot this thing up, okay? So let's give it a shot. All right, guys, we're going to go into the BIOS on this. I'm going to show you real quick what you have to change to get this to boot. So let's go over to devices and just check everything. So serial port setup, disable it. USB setup, just go ahead and have it like it is right here, okay? Make sure we have AHCI configured for SATA. Video setup, we're going to use a card, so we'll PEG. Audio setup, yep, we want to turn it on. Network setup is enabled. PCI Express, just like you see it. Pretty simple stuff. We don't need to worry about Intel Thunderbolt. We'll go over to Advanced CPU Setup. And here we just want to make sure VTD is disabled. Everything else here is fine the way you see it. Disable. Basically everything's disabled. All right, we'll go over here to power. There's nothing to change. Security, we'll come down here and make sure that secure boot is disabled. And I think everything else is fine the way it is. Yes. And then we'll go over here to startup, and CSM is disabled. So that's forcing it into UEFI mode, UEFI only. All right, so that's it. Now on this particular machine, we have to press F12 to get to the boot menu. So I'm just tapping F12. And I'm going to pick my USB stick. So enter. And then I'm going to go over here to install macOS Sonoma and hit enter. And then you're going to notice that it gets stuck. So let me show you the reason it's getting stuck, because this is an unusual situation, but I wanted to show you because things like this, when you're making EFIs, can happen. And then you have to do a lot of research to find out why it's happening. So it can get very frustrating. It always looks so easy building an EFI when you're doing a video. But things like this you run into, and it can take you hours to figure out. So let's go ahead and go out of here. We're going to shut this computer off, and we're going to restart it and fix the problem. All right, now we'll come back in. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to get to our hidden EFI partition so I can make a change in the EFI. So we'll double click on OC, click here, and we want to make sure I'm selected on my USB stick, which I am, and click here, and password. And what we're looking for is release USB ownership. Okay, so there it is. This needs to be checked. So we simply check it and save it. Then we can go out of here, restart the computer, and we'll try to continue with the install. All right, there's the USB stick. Hit enter. And we're going to go over here to install. And there we go. It goes right past it. Now guys, notice we are stuck again on successfully initialized AHCI controller. This is another problem. What it's doing is there's no port mapping done, so it's not going to go further with the installation. So there is a workaround for this, and I'm going to show you how to fix that too. So let's quit out of here. Let's shut it down. And let's restart the computer, go back into it. And these are the kind of things that you're going to run into when trying to install macOS on a PC. I just want to show you the real life situation so you don't get frustrated. You can look for workarounds, okay? Okay, let's boot back in. And I'll put my USB stick back in the computer. And I have another USB stick that has a file on it that I need. So let's double click on that. And we're looking for USB inject all. And here it is. So just drag this out to the desktop. Okay. Now, if you go to my website, on the download page, you can download this text. Okay. So don't worry about trying to find it because it is tough to find. Okay. So got rid of that USB stick. Now, let's go back into OC Auxiliary Tools. And we'll open again. And all we're going to do is open the USB stick. Click here. Password. All right. Now, let me minimize this a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to go over to the EFI. So we'll go over right here on the desktop, and there's my EFI. And there is my folder, OC. And I want to put this in the text folder. All right. Now let's go back to our config.p list. Okay, and we're going to go over here to kernel. And we're going to make sure that it is here, and there it is. Now also what we want to do is go up here to quirks and turn this item on right here. And this is going to help us get past that error. We're going to save. Okay, we'll go out of here, restart the computer, pressing F12 to get to the boot menu again. And we'll try it and see what happens. Okay, pressing that F12 key to boot from the USB stick. There it is. We'll hit enter. And let's see if we get past that error message. Okay, coming up on it. There it is. That's where we were stuck. We should go past it. And there we go. So that is fixed. These are the kind of things that you run into when you're trying to install macOS on a PC. Okay, so here we are. We're ready to format our drives. So let's click on Disk Utility and click Continue. And then make sure you press this down arrow and show all devices. You want to see the name of your NVMe, your hard drive, your SSD. This is mine right here. I'm going to click Erase, and I'm going to call it Mac OS. And I want to make sure it's on APFS and GUID partition. Click Erase. Okay, we're all done. So we'll go out of here. Install macOS Sonoma. Click Continue. Continue. And then agree and agree. We're going to click the drive we just formatted, which we named macOS, and click Continue, and it'll start installing. And this will take about 30 minutes to complete, and it will restart several times. So don't get too freaked out about that. And when it's done, we'll come back and we'll finish up installing macOS on a PC. All right, guys, we'll see you back. Okay, guys, so here we are all finished installing. So let's just go ahead and pick our country. And, well, US for me. You just go through all these screens. Not now. I do have Ethernet, so we'll click continue. My LAN cable's connected, so it should pick it up. We'll continue. We're not going to transfer anything. We agree. We agree. You can call it whatever you like, guys, and give it a password. All right, continue. And it takes a long time for this thing for creating accounts. Sonoma, I don't know why it takes so long here, but it'll pause and just keep working on it. It's creating an account. Okay, we can enable location services. I always turn off this analytics. Continue. Set up later. And then pick your light, dark, or auto mode, whichever you like. And continue. And it wants to identify my keyboard. So we are done, guys. All done. Now I've got a USB stick here that has OC auxiliary tools on it. So I'll show you the last steps that we need to do. Okay, so let's put that in. All right. So I'm going to grab my auxiliary tools right here. Just put it on the desktop. Open it up. And then do it again. All the security features of Sonoma. And then we're just going to click here to mount our drives. So this is my hard drive, my NVMe. Well, on this, it's actually an SSD. Put in my password. I'm going to go ahead and eject my extra drive. And then I'll click here to mount my USB stick. Password in. All right, so there's my EFI. So all I have to do now is go to, this is my SSD EFI, and it has this, but there's nothing in there, okay? So we want to grab this EFI and just drag it into here and replace. And you are done. Now you can remove your USB stick right there, just eject it. You can restart the computer, and this thing is finished. That is how easy it is to do those steps to get you up and running. Now we do need to do USB port mapping, which we'll do in another video. I do have a video on it, but I'm going to do an updated video just to show you guys all of the new steps. But that's it. You'll be up and running now with your USBs working. But we do want to do USB port mapping, and I'll show you guys in a different video how to do that. So thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe. Just smash it there. I really appreciate it. And guys, we'll see you on the next video.